Imagine this. You have lived in the United States for 20 years. You have a home. You have children in school. You pay your taxes. You go to work every morning. You have done everything right. Everything by the book. And then one day you take a trip. Maybe you fly back home to see your mother. Maybe you attend a wedding. Maybe you just need a break. A normal trip. 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Nothing unusual. You land back at JFK. You walk up to the CBP counter. You hand over your green card. The same card that has gotten you through this line 100 times before. But this time the officer does not scan it and wave you through. This time he looks at his screen, looks at you, and says 4 words that change everything. Step aside, please. They take you to a back room. They sit you down. They start asking questions. Questions you were not prepared for. How long were you gone? Where do you work? Show me your tax return. Do you have a lease? Show me your phone. Your phone. They open your WhatsApp. They scroll through your messages. They screenshot the conversation with your cousin. A conversation where you joked about overstaying your trip. It was a joke. You came back. You always come back. But they are not laughing. Then they put a piece of paper in front of you. Form I-407. Record of abandonment of lawful permanent resident status. They tell you to sign it. They tell you it will be easier if you just sign it. They tell you that if you do not sign it, you will be detained. This is not a movie scene. This is happening right now in 2026 at airports across the United States. And today, I am going to tell you exactly why it is happening. The 3 new CBP rules that are making it possible, and the precise steps you need to take so that this never happens to you or your family. Do not skip a single second of this video. What you learn in the next 20 minutes could be the difference between walking through that airport and never walking out. Welcome back to Global Immigration Updates. I'm Saqib. And on this channel, I give you the raw truth about immigration. No sugarcoating, no clickbait, just the facts you need to protect your family. If you are a green card holder or you know someone who is, this is the most important video you will watch this year. Subscribe, hit the bell, and share this because someone you love needs to hear this before their next flight. Before I get into the 3 new rules, let me show you the battlefield. Because if you do not understand what has changed, you will not understand why your green card is now a target. In fiscal year 2025, CBP conducted 55,318 electronic device searches at U.S. ports of entry. That is up 17% from the 47,047 searches in 2024. Let me put that number into perspective for you. In 2016, CBP searched about 19,000 devices. In 2025, that number nearly tripled, and the searches of devices belonging to American citizens alone jumped from 8,657 in 2023 to 13,590 in 2025. If they are doing that to citizens, imagine what they are doing to green card holders. And it is not just phones. A 66-year-old legal assistant named Victor Avila, a green card holder for 58 years, was detained at the airport after visiting his son who serves in the U.S. Air Force. 58 years as a legal permanent resident, and they pulled him into secondary inspection. A Filipino green card holder named Maximo Londonio was detained at Seattle-Tacoma Airport after a routine vacation to the Philippines. He spent 3 months in ICE custody. 3 months. A Korean green card holder named Tae Hyung Kim was detained at SFO and transferred to a detention facility in Arizona, allegedly sleeping in a chair with no access to proper facilities. These are not criminals. These are not overstays. These are people who had every right to be in this country, who had green cards in their hands, and who were ripped from their lives at an airport counter. In 2026, under the current administration, CBP officers have been given broader discretion, expanded digital tools, and a political mandate to be aggressive. The message from the top is clear. Question everyone. Trust no one. And if there is any doubt, detain. So here is what changed. 3 specific rules that you need to understand. Rule number 1. mandatory biometric entry and exit tracking for every green card holder. On November 20th, 2025, DHS published a final rule to advance the biometric entry-exit program. This rule went into effect on December 26, 2025. Before this date, certain categories of travelers were exempt from biometric collection. Diplomats, most Canadian travelers, and children under 14. Those exemptions are gone. As of December 26th, every single non-citizen, including every green card holder, is now subject to facial recognition and fingerprint collection when entering and when leaving the United States. Now, you might think this is no big deal. They take your picture, they scan your fingerprint, and you go on your way. But that is not what this rule is really about. This rule is about building a complete travel history for every green card holder in real time. Before this rule, CBP had your entry records, but often did not have your exit records. They knew when you came in, but they did not always know exactly when you left. That gap gave green card holders a small window of ambiguity. If CBP asked, "How long were you outside the country?" and you said, "About 4 months," there was no immediate way to contradict you. That window is now closed. With mandatory biometric exit, CBP knows the exact date and time you boarded that plane. They know the exact date and time you returned. They can calculate to the hour how long you were gone. And here is where it becomes dangerous. If your absence is over 180 days, you are automatically subject to new immigrant inspection procedures under 8 U.S.C. 1101. That means CBP can treat you not as a returning resident, but as a new arrival. They can question the validity of your green card. They can initiate abandonment proceedings. They can put Form I-407 in front of you and pressure you to sign away your status. Before this rule, some of these cases fell through the cracks because the data was incomplete. Now, every single day of your absence is tracked, recorded, and flagged. The system does the math for the officer before you even reach the counter. What you need to do. If you are a green card holder who travels frequently, get a re-entry permit, Form I-131, before any trip that might exceed 6 months. Keep your trips under 180 days whenever possible. And if you must travel for longer, make absolutely sure you maintain strong ties to the United States. A lease, utility bills, tax filings, employment records. Carry physical copies of all of these documents with you every single time you fly. Rule number 2. CBP is now searching your phone, and they do not need a warrant to do it. Let me be extremely clear about something. Under current U.S. law, CBP has the legal authority to search any traveler's electronic device at any port of entry without a warrant and without probable cause. This is known as the border search exception, and it applies to citizens, green card holders, and visa holders alike. But what has changed in 2026 is the scale, the technology, and the intent behind these searches. CBP now uses 2 primary forensic tools, Cellebrite and Graykey. These are not officers casually scrolling through your photo album. These are military-grade extraction devices that can pull every piece of data from your phone. Deleted messages, cached files, app data, location history, encrypted conversations in minutes. The Electronic Frontier Foundation filed a brief with the Third Circuit in March 2026, arguing that these forensic searches are so invasive that they should require a warrant. That case is still pending, which means right now, today, CBP can do this legally. But it gets worse. On April 7, 2026, just days ago, NPR and VPN reported that ICE has acknowledged using Paragon spyware, a tool capable of intercepting encrypted messages on apps like WhatsApp and Signal. While ICE and CBP are different agencies, they share data, they share systems, and they share the same Department of Homeland Security infrastructure. If ICE has Paragon, assume that the information ecosystem at the border has access to its outputs. Now, let me tell you what CBP officers are specifically looking for when they search a green card holder's phone at the airport. They are looking for evidence of abandonment, messages that suggest you are living abroad, photos geotagged in another country over extended periods, employment records outside the U.S. They are looking for evidence of unauthorized activity, conversations about working under the table, screenshots of cash payments, anything that suggests immigration fraud. They are looking for social media posts, political commentary, anti-government statements, connections to flagged individuals, membership in certain groups. The New York Times reported in January 2026 that U.S. border agents now have broad authority to look through a mobile phone, check comments made on social media, and examine a laptop without a warrant. USA Today reported that the State Department has proposed requiring 5 years of social media history from certain visa applicants. And while that proposal targets visa applicants specifically, CBP officers are already using social media as a screening tool at the border for everyone, including green card holders. Here is a real scenario. A green card holder returns from a 3-week trip to Pakistan. During secondary inspection, a CBP officer asks to see his phone. On his WhatsApp, there was a group chat where someone shared a political meme criticizing U.S. foreign policy. The green card holder did not post it. Someone else in the group did. But the officer screenshots it, adds it to the file, and uses it as a basis for extended questioning. The man is held for 9 hours. His family does not know where he is. He is eventually released, but with a note in his CBP record that follows him for every future entry. This is the reality of 2026. What you need to do. Before every international trip, audit your phone. Remove any conversations that could be misinterpreted. Log out of group chats that contain political content. Delete cached data. Better yet, travel with a clean phone, a separate device with no social media apps, no messaging history, and no sensitive files. If CBP asks to search your phone and you are a green card holder, know this. You can refuse, but refusal may result in extended detention, seizure of your device, and heightened scrutiny. There is no perfect answer here, but going in prepared is better than going in blind. Rule number 3. CBP officers are aggressively pressuring green card holders to sign Form I-407, voluntarily abandoning their own status. This is the rule that terrifies me the most because it is not a new law. It is not a new regulation. It is a new tactic, and it is working. Form I-407 is the record of abandonment of lawful permanent resident status. When you sign this form, you are voluntarily giving up your green card. You are telling the U.S. government, I no longer want to be a permanent resident. Once you sign it, your green card is taken. Your status is gone, and reversing it is extraordinarily difficult. Here is what is happening in 2026. Green card holders arrive at U.S. airports after trips abroad. They are pulled into secondary inspection. The CBP officer begins asking questions designed to build the case for abandonment. How long were you gone? Where do you really live? Where do your children go to school? Do you file U.S. taxes? Where is your U.S. address? If the officer decides that there is reason to believe you may have abandoned your residency, they present Form I-407. And here is the critical part. They frame it as though signing is your best option. They say things like, this will make it easier for you. They say, if you don't sign, you'll be detained. They say, you can always reapply later. They say, this is just a formality. It is not a formality. It is the end of your green card. What most people do not know, and what CBP officers do not volunteer, is this. You have the absolute legal right to refuse to sign Form I-407. According to AILA, the American Immigration Lawyers Association, If you refuse to sign, CBP must issue you a notice to appear before an immigration judge, and only that judge, not the CBP officer, has the legal authority to determine whether you have actually abandoned your residency. Let me say that again, because it might be the most important sentence in this entire video. Only an immigration judge can revoke your green card, not a CBP officer, not an ICE agent, not anyone at the airport. If you sign I-407, you are doing their job for them. You are handing them your status on a piece of paper. Reports have surfaced of elderly green card holders, seniors in their 70s and 80s, being pressured to sign I-407 after routine trips to visit family. These are people who may not fully understand what they are signing. People who are intimidated by a uniformed officer in a back room. People who just want to go home to their families and will sign anything to make the ordeal stop. This is not enforcement. This is coercion dressed in a uniform. What you need to do: memorize this sentence and teach it to every green card holder in your family. I do not wish to abandon my permanent resident status. I refuse to sign Form I-407. I request to see an immigration judge. Say it calmly. Say it clearly. Say it once. Then say nothing else until you have an attorney present. Write this sentence on a card and carry it in your wallet next to your green card. Give one to your parents. Give one to your spouse. Give one to every green card holder you know. Now, let me put this all together with a complete protection plan. 5 steps that every green card holder must follow before their next flight. Step 1. Keep every trip under 180 days. If you cannot, file Form I-131 for a re-entry permit before you leave. Do not gamble with the biometric exit system. It is tracking you down to the hour. Step 2. Carry a travel documentation folder every single time you fly. Inside that folder, your U.S. tax returns for the last 3 years, your lease or mortgage statement, your utility bills, your employment verification letter, your bank statements showing U.S.-based activity, and your re-entry permit, if applicable. If CBP questions your ties to the U.S., you open that folder, and the conversation changes. Step 3. Travel with a clean phone. No WhatsApp political group chats. No sensitive messages. No photos you would not want a federal officer looking at. If CBP searches your device, the less they find, the less they can use against you. Step 4. Never sign Form I-407. I do not care what the officer tells you. I do not care how tired you are. I do not care how scared you are. Do not sign that form. Say the sentence, I do not wish to abandon my permanent resident status. I refuse to sign Form I-407. I request to see an immigration judge. Step 5. Have an immigration attorney's phone number saved and memorized. If you are detained, you have the right to make a phone call. Use it. Call your attorney. Call the ICE detainee hotline, 866-347-2423. Have your family check the ICE detainee locator at locator.ice.gov. Do not try to talk your way out of it alone. I want to end this video by speaking directly to you. If you are watching this with a green card in your wallet, understand something. That card is not just a piece of plastic. It represents years, maybe decades, of sacrifice. It represents the paperwork, the interviews, the waiting, the fees, the sleepless nights. It represents the promise that this country made to you, that you belong here, that this is your home. Nobody, not a CBP officer, not a politician, not a policy memo, has the right to take that away from you in a back room at an airport by sliding a form across the table and telling you to sign. But they will try, and the only thing standing between you and that moment is preparation, knowledge, awareness, the information in this video. So, here is what I am asking you to do. Share this video with every green card holder you know. Send it to your parents, your siblings, your cousins, your friends, your co-workers. Send it to the uncle who travels back home every summer. Send it to the grandmother who visits the grandchildren abroad every winter. Send it to anyone who carries a green card and boards a plane. Because the people who lose their green cards at the airport are not the people who did something wrong. They are the people who did not know what was coming. Now you know. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you or someone you know been stopped at the airport as a green card holder? What happened? Your story might help someone else prepare. And tell me, what immigration topic should I cover next? Your question becomes my next video. Subscribe, hit the bell, join our WhatsApp group. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. And I will see you in the next one. Protect yourself, protect your family, and never, ever sign that form.